Hello everyone, this is Joseph. Today I'm going to share with you two concepts, two heuristics, two strategies, guess and check versus making assumption. Now, these two special strategies are taught in schools, right? At a lower primary level, students are taught guess and check, and gradually they are taught making assumption. No, so what is the difference between these two? And which strategy, which heuristic is highly recommended? Now, before I move on to share with you which heuristic is highly recommended, let me go through this exam smart strategy that I always use using the acronym RAISE, R-A-I-S-E. So whenever we do a word problem, we have to read each question carefully, and when we are reading, we have to annotate. Annotating using underlining, circling, highlighting to pick up the keywords and the important values. Now, that highlighting, annotating, all right, is actually allowing us to identify the concepts, identify the heuristics, the strategy to be used to solve each problem. After solving the entire question, we are strongly encouraged to evaluate. Evaluate means to confirm that our answer, our solution is correct. Usually when we evaluate, we use a different strategy, a different heuristics, a different concept to solve the same word problem. And once we get the same answer using two different concepts, two different ways of solving, we can confirm that our answer is definitely correct. Now, guess and check have this particular strategy, guess and check, has special features. And what are they? Now, for guess and check, usually there are two sets of quantity with their respective value. Give you an example. Usually the two sets of quantity is something like that. The first set, a cow has 4 legs. The second set, a chicken has 2 legs. So the cow and the chicken, they are the name of the two quantities. The 4 legs and the 2 legs are referring to the values of the quantity. That means the values attached to the quantity. The second feature that we get to see will be the total number of quantities. So if we know that there are a total of, or there is a total of 8 animals in a farm, and the animals are cows and chickens, all right, then that will be a good idea that we can use guess and check. Besides knowing the total of the quantities, we usually are given the total number of values. In this case, the total number of values are referring to the total number of legs. And the main question would be to find the number of cows. They can also ask you to find the number of chickens in the farm. Now, the format for doing this guess and check is usually 6 columns. There are 6 columns to be constructed when we perform guess and check solution. The first 2 columns, number of cows and number of chickens, should add up to give you the total number of animals in the farm. The third and fourth column should usually add up to give you the total value. So the total values in this case in this question will be the total number of legs. The first two columns will be the total number of quantities, which is animals. Now, column number 5 would be the total legs, total number of legs. Right? That means column 3 plus column 4. So 3 plus 4. Right? To fulfill the criteria, the special feature stated in the word problem. And the final column is usually the checking column. Alright, whether we have fulfilled the condition stated in the word problem. Alright, if it's not fulfilled, usually we indicate with a cross. And we check, we keep on listing until we arrive at a tick. A tick means we have fulfilled all the conditions and we have found the answer. Okay, to illustrate this even better, I will give you an example. Let's take a look at this question number 1. In a farm, there is a total of 8 cows and chickens. So this number 8 is referred to the total quantities. So allow me to write this first. There is a total of 26 legs. So this will be the total values. And what are we finding? We are asked to find the number of cows. Alright? Okay, so the total quantities, which is the number 8 here, will be our column 1 and 2. And the total values, the 26 legs, will be our column 3, 4, and 5. Alright, and we use column number 6 to check. So our column number 6 will help us to get our final answer. Alright, so let's look at the next slide. I will illustrate how to go about using guess and check by constructing 6 columns. Okay, now before we fill in every cell in the table, we need to make an intelligent first guess involving the total 8 animals. Alright, that means this one plus this one must be 8. The total must be 8. The total animals must be 8. Now, usually it's highly recommended to guess in this manner, to make the first guess in this manner, by taking half of the total. So if the total is 8, using our primary 1 concept of number bonds, 8 is made of 4 and 4. So 4 and 4 make 8. So what we do is we assume our first guess will be there are 4 cows and there are 4 chickens. Alright? Now we know that one cow has 4 legs. So if there are 4 cows, then there will be 4 times 4, that gives us 16 legs. Right? Okay. Now, what about the chickens? Okay, let me change color so that it's easier for you to follow. Alright, now one chicken has 2 legs. So if there are 4 chickens in the farm, then will be 4 chickens times 2 legs each. There will be 8 total legs. Alright, okay, now, so these two, if you add them up, it will be here. So meaning 16 plus 8, that gives us 24. Now we need 26. We need this value 26. the total number of legs, is it 26? Unfortunately, no. If we have our first guess as 4 cows and 4 chickens, we can only get a total of 24 legs. So we are unable to have the correct first guess. Okay, now, since our total is 24 in our first guess, it is 2 legs fewer than the required criteria, meaning we need to increase the number of legs. To increase the number of legs, based on common sense logic, we should increase the number of cows in the farm. So instead of having 4 cows, we will increase by 1 more cow. So we'll have 5 cows instead, so that this extra cow will bring up the total legs closer to 26, the expected total value. So if in our second guess, if we have 5 cows, then our chickens must only be 3. Why is that so? Because 5 plus 3 give us 8. We must always fulfill the total animals 8. Right? Okay. Now, so go back to here. If there are 5 cows in our second guess, 5 cows and 4 legs each cow, it is a total of 20 legs here. If there are 3 chickens in a farm, each chicken has 2 legs. So 3 times 2, there will be 6 legs in total. We add up these two, column 3 plus column 4, give us the total. So this is column 3 plus column 4. So column 3 is 20, column 4 is 6. 20 plus 6 is 26. And hooray, we got this value 26, which is good. Fulfill our condition. Okay, so there is a total of 26 legs, which is proven true. So this is only possible if there are 5 cows and 3 chickens in the farm. So let's look at the main question. How many cows are there in the farm? Answer is 5. So the answer will be 5 cows in the farm. Alright, so that's how guess and check is done. Alright, okay, let me show you question 2. Now, if this is the question, instead of a total of 8 animals, we have a total of 9 now. And of course, if the total is 9 animals, right, then the total number of legs must of course be more. Okay, so if that is the case, right, how are we going to do our first guess? So remember, what did we do? We take 9. To do our first guess, right, we must have half number of cows and half the number of chickens. So 9 divided by 2 is never half. It's not possible because 9 is an odd number. So we know that 9 divided by 2 is actually 4 remainder 1. Meaning 9 is made up of 4 and 5. 4 and 5 make 9. So one quantity will have more animals. The other quantity will be fewer. Alright, so let's do this. Let's assume that there are 4 cows and 5 chickens. Okay, let's do this. So imagine there are 4 cows, alright, and there are 5 chickens. Remember, these two must add up to give you 9. This one here. Okay, change color again. Okay, right. So if there are 4 cows in our first guess, each cow has 4 legs, total legs 16. 5 chickens, each chicken has 2 legs, there will be 10. Then the total number of legs will be column 3 at column 4. So 3 plus 4 will give us 16 plus 10, that will be our 26. No, we need 28. We need 28, so it is a cross. So our first guess is wrong. Since our first guess total number of legs is actually fewer, so we should increase the number of counts. So let me give this 5. If the total number of counts in the second guess is 5, then the total number of chickens has to be 3. No, my apology. It has to be 4. Why 4? Because 5 plus 4 must be 9. We need to fulfill this 9 condition, the total quantities. Alright? Okay, so it has always got to do with the number bonds of 9. So, column 3, the number of count legs. 5 counts in a farm, each count has 4 legs, so total 20 legs. 4 chickens in a farm, each chicken has 2 legs, so there will be total 8 legs. So let's add column 3 and column 4 to find the total number of legs of all the animals. So 20 plus 8, that will give you 28. And hooray, 28 fulfill this condition. Tick. And our final answer will be 5 counts. Easy, right? So it is always highly recommended for us to start off the first guess using this. This will help us to get our first guess. Very important. Alright? If there's a remainder, then we use this approach. If there's no remainder, like the previous number 1, it will be simpler. Okay? Alright, let's look at question 3. Now, what if the farm, the total number of animals is very large, 32, and the legs, the 92. Do you think it is still possible to do this way? Let's try. Our approach is find half of it. 32 animals in total, right? So half of it will be 16 each. So number bonds of 32 is 16 and 16. That means 16 counts, 16 chickens. Alright, and these two will make up 32. Now, if there are 16 counts, each count 4 legs, that will be our 64. If there are 16 chickens, each chicken 2 legs, that will be our 32. Then we take column 3, add column 4, that will give us our 96. Alright? So 96 is too many as compared to this 92. So not the correct guess. So too many legs in our first guess. So what we do is, the total number of counts must be reduced. Chicken has to increase. Remember, if we reduce the total number of counts by 1, then the number of chickens, the other quantity must increase by 1, so that we always fulfill the condition 32. Right? The given criteria. Okay, so continue to do the same approach. 15 counts times 4 legs each, like that. So that gives us 60. 17 chickens times 2 legs each, that will be 34. Add the cows legs and chicken legs together, that will be our 60 plus 34, that gives us 94. We still cannot fulfill our given condition. Alright? Okay, so that means the total number of legs is still on the high side. So we should reduce the number of counts again. So usually for those of you who are extremely careful, right, you will reduce the number of counts slowly, one animal, one quantity at each time. And then on the safer side, right? Yeah. That is called systematic listing. So I think it can be quite consuming, time consuming. But we are lucky because the number is only 32 animals. What if the total is 100 plus and the total number of legs will be 200 plus? Then I will guess and check will be a tedious process. Now, this question can also be done using a much more effective way, a much more effective heuristics strategy concept. And I want to share with you this question. Yes, we can use guess and check to solve it, but it can be more effectively done using making assumption, or in some schools, they call it making supposition. Okay, so guess and check is a good heuristic. It's a good strategy. It's a good concept, but making assumption is better, is more effective, more efficient. So allow me to share with you this strategy. Okay, right? Okay, so we are going to use big values, the one that we had in question 3, these big values. Okay, right? So I'm going to demonstrate to you to show you how to use making assumption to solve this same problem. All right, now 32 is the total number of animals, right? And 92 will be the total number of legs. And our job is to find the number of cows in the farm. Now, to do assumption method, right? Making assumption, see the name of the title is already a clue. We are going to assume. So we have to start off with a statement. Assume all the 32 animals, they are, okay, they are what? Because there are two different quantities here. Okay, you have two quantities here. You have cows, you have chickens. So there are two quantities here. So assume means we are pretending all the cows are, or all the animals are cows, or we are pretending all the animals are chickens. That's what making assumption is all about. All right. Now, since the question is asking us to find the number of cows, right? It's always highly recommended to do the opposite. To assume the opposite. Yes, we always assume the opposite. So we assume all the 32 animals are chickens. Okay, all right. So now assume all the 32 animals are chickens. That's our very first statement. Super important, and we have to state it. Okay, so if there are 32 animals and they are all chickens in a farm, then our assumed total number of legs, the chicken legs, will be 32 times 2, 32 chickens times 2 legs each. That will give us 64. Now, our assumed total number of legs in the farm is 64. But the actual total number of legs is actually 92. So, meaning there is a difference in the total. There's a difference in total. So the difference in total is caused by what? Remember, if we assume all are chickens, right? That means there are some cows. Some are cows in the farm, but cows have 4 legs, remember? But we pretend all are chickens, right? So the cows, each cow must be hiding 2 legs. And when the farmer is counting the legs, right? The farmer are only counting 2 legs each for all the animals. So that means some cows are pretending to be 2-legged. So the difference in total means the hidden legs, the miscounted legs, the missing legs. So how many? 92 minus 64. Alright, so if you minus carefully, it will be 28. 92 minus 64 is 28. So this 28 definitely must come from the counts which are pretending to be two-legged animals. Okay, now I've already told you already, each count is pretending to be two-legged, right? So the difference in each animal, the number of legs will be four-legged animal, one four-legged animal minus one two-legged animals. So a cow is pretending to have two legs fewer, right? Okay, so you take these two values. Remember, this one belongs to the counts pretending to hide legs. This is the number of legs missing from one animal. Okay, all right, the hidden legs coming from one animal. So how many two legs are missing from this total 28, sorry. Okay, so let's find out how many counts. So the number of counts with missing legs will be 28 divided by 2. That will be our 14. So in fact, there are 14 counts in the farm. This is already our answer. Now, we can double check that this assumption method works by proving that we are true. Okay, so let's do a proof. If there are 14 counts, and each count has 4 legs, so 14 times 4 will give you 56 legs in total. If there are 14 counts, that means there should be how many chickens? Yes, our number bonds comes in. 32 animals, take out 14 counts, we are left with 18 chickens, right? Okay, so this one belongs to the counts category. Okay, I'm going to box it up because I have lack of space. So the chickens category will be 18 chickens. Each chicken has 2 legs. There will be 36 total legs from the chicken. We take these two total number of legs add together. What do we get? Okay, so I'm going to add up for you. So 56 add 36, add carefully, we get 92. So it's proven true. There, the 92 is here, and the 92 is here. So the answer is there are 14 counts in the farm. And this question can be easily done using guess and check more effectively, more efficiently, shorter, faster than the guess and check method. All right, this is very useful if the total quantity is super large. If the total value is also super large, then the guess and check tabulation method may be a tedious process. So everybody is highly recommended to use making assumption. And making assumption is very systematic. You only require to use 5 steps. What are the 5 steps? 1, by making a statement, assume all the 32 animals are chickens. 2, second step is to write down the assumed total number of legs. Step number 3 is to write down the actual total number of legs in the farm, which is always stated in the question. Step number 4 is to write down the difference in the total. That means by taking the two totals minus each other, subtract each other, right? The actual total and the assumed total, find their difference. Step number 5 is to find the difference in legs of each quantity, and step number 6, which is the conclusion, is the final answer. Now, this is only possible if you assume the opposite. Remember what I said just now? Assume the opposite. Once you assume the opposite, then you only require 6 lines in your solution. Now, what if you assume this? Assume all are counts instead. It can still be done. Okay, let's try this out. So let's say we assume all the 32 animals are counts. Let's say I forgot to assume the opposite. I assume all are counts, not the opposite. Okay, so it's still manageable. Okay, so let's go through the whole process. So the first statement is very important, assuming all the 32 animals are counts. And second line will be assumed total. So our assumed total will be 32 animals, each one are 4-legged, so 32 times 4, right? That gives us 128 legs in total. Unfortunately, the actual total number of legs is only 92. This 92 came from where? Here. Okay? All right, the actual total stated in the question. Now, after having these two lines, we always need to find the difference in their totals, in the two totals. So the difference in the two totals is take the bigger number, 128, subtract the smaller one, 92. So when you minus these two, all right, we get 36. Okay, now after this, we always do the next difference. Now this time, the difference is in each animal, right? One cow has 4 legs, one chicken has 2 legs. So each cow or each chicken, the difference between their legs will be 2. Take these two differences, find the quotient. That means we divide them. Now, since we assume all are counts, right? Then our answer will be chickens. So 36 divided by 2 equals to 16. Okay? There are 16. Not 16. My pardon. So it's 18. Okay. So is it true that there are 18 chickens? If we recall from our previous slide, there are 18 chickens and there are 14 cows. So these two values should add up to give you 32 animals. So it's correct. Okay, so to find the counts, we have to do one extra step. Okay, so let's find the counts. So to find the counts, we have to do extra steps because in the main question, we are told to find the number of counts over here. So to find the number of counts, take the total animals minus 18 chickens, that will be 14. So this is our answer. So you notice if you do not assume the total, if you do not assume the opposite, if you forgot to assume the opposite, you will have one extra line. That means you have to do this extra step. Now, I hope my video is convincing you to use guess and check for smaller number. But if you have a bigger value, very, very big quantity, total quantity, very, very big total value, then assumption method, making assumption or making supposition is a better choice, is more effective, is more efficient. All right. So I hope you have a good idea why some schools are teaching students to use making assumption to replace guess and check. But remember, guess and check is a PSLE strategy. Making assumption is also a PSLE strategy. All right, so both are good, but definitely one will be a better one. Which one? It's up to individual. But for me, Joseph, I highly recommend students who are able to do a little bit of strategic solving. I recommend you to use making assumption. Now, in my coming videos, I will share with you making assumption involving 3 quantities. Today's video is only involving 2 quantities, cows and chickens. But I'll be sharing with you making assumption involving 3 quantities, 3 animals in a farm. Then in my other video, I will be sharing with you making assumption involving difference in values. Right, just now in our discussion, we are talking about difference in, we don't talk about difference in values, we talk about total values, total animals and total legs. But in my part 3 of making assumption, I will share with you total animals, but difference in the number of legs. Right? Okay. If you find me my sharing is useful, if you find my sharing clear, if you have learned something different, a new approach to solve guess and check question, give my video a thumbs up, a liking. Do share with anybody who likes it. I welcomed comments, okay? And don't forget to click on the subscription bell so that you will be notified of my future videos being posted. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Do take care. See you again. Goodbye.